Hello, you guys, and welcome back. I just have an array of beautiful Black women that I am going to be just parading in front of you for the next year or so. So today, we are thrilled to feature Dr. Karen Taylor, founder of Invictus Smart Performance, LLC. Now, Karen's journey from high school cross country runner to a trailblazing entrepreneur in physical therapy is a testament to passion, perseverance, and innovation. With a focus on helping runners stay strong and resilient, Karen combines cutting edge technology, personalized care, and a deep commitment to representation in healthcare. Let's dive into her story and learn how she's redefining physical therapy for endurance athletes. Hello, Karen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I am happy to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us on the Dear Black Woman platform. We are excited to have you as well. So I'm
Thank
going
you for
to jump
having
right
me.
into the questions. What inspired you to focus on runners and endurance athletes for your physical therapy practice? And how does that shape your approach to care?
As you mentioned in the intro, I ran cross country in high school and track, and I loved it. Even to this day, I'm always excited to catch an event for runners. And so, that was my thing. As I graduated out of PT school and started to kind of work in different areas, and I'm like, what am I most passionate about? Because you work in these different clinics and you have to treat everything that comes through the door, right? And it's like, some of this stuff I enjoy. Some of this stuff is just kind of like, I can't wrap my mind around it because it's maybe not something that I'm totally interested in. And so as I started diving more into things and started to really say, I want to focus my interest on something that is not only meaningful to me, but valuable to my community. And I live in an area where there is a large running community, but just not a lot of specific help for them. Even in some of those outpatient settings, dealing with runners coming in, but knowing I just didn't have the ability to truly treat them based on that type of setting. And so I decided to branch out and I started Invictus Smart Performance, and using all of the knowledge that I have and the ability to gain certain data for these runners to say, hey, I can make things better for you. But it can't happen in the setting that I was working in. And so stepping out and opening my own practice and now having the ability to be one-on-one with my patients, that has been the thing that has inspired me the most. I love it. I get excited about it, and just knowing that I am giving my patients a true opportunity to not just get better, but get to their very best version of themselves as a runner.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What sets Invictus Smart Performance apart from traditional physical therapy clinics?
Because when you go into those traditional clinics, that's what it is with, as far as like with insurance, the overwhelming volume that those therapists have to see. And so I set myself apart. And one, I am mobile, so I actually come to my patient. You don't have to worry about fighting this Atlanta traffic to get to me. I come to you. I specifically treat in Henry County, Fayette County, and Clayton County, but you don't have to come to me. I come to you, and everything is one-on-one, which means you don't come to me and say, hey, my ankle is hurting, and because of time constraints, I'm just looking at the ankle. I take in the whole body, the whole person, what is truly going on with you that is contributing to that pain, and we can give you a very focused line of care. Along with that is I do 3D gait analysis. A lot of times you'll go somewhere and they'll tell you, oh, we can do a gait analysis, and then they pull out their phones and they start recording you in slow motion, and that is based on what the eye can see, and the eye can be deceiving sometimes. Even as movement specialists, this is what we do. We're trained to tease out those things. But for a true runner, there's nothing like being able to have that data, having that 3D gait analysis with the markers on you, and it's spitting out that information to show you exactly what your range of motion is at every joint, at the hip, at the knee, at the ankle, telling you all of those things, and to tease out the difference from one side to the other. And now we have not only what my eye can see, not only the fact that I've evaluated you holistically, but we have the data to say this is what is going on, and this is our path to fixing that for you.
Okay, now can you share an example of how this technology has transformed a client's recovery or performance?
Absolutely. I have a high school runner that I've been working with. He reached out to me back in August. Him and his family reached out to me, and he was having some hip pain. And so I said, okay, let's kind of take a look at things for you. I went over, I used that technology, and I'm able to say, here's where things are going, are kind of going awry in your run. He was an overstrider, and that's something you can pick up with the eye. But to what point? That is what that 3D gait analysis tells me. It tells me exactly what your angle is. And I can give him some cues and immediately able to fix that. And then from there, give him training strategies. These are the exercises that you need to do. These are the things that you need to do on a daily basis to fix that and to improve your cadence and all of that. And now I actually just spoke with him this morning. He's saying, I am feeling much better. My hip pain has gone away. He made it through the cross country season. He actually PR'd. He was actually named the most improved athlete this season. And that was just our work from August now, and not even a whole lot of work because, again, you're in the middle of the season, so there's not a whole lot that I can change. But recently there's been some changes in the shoes. And so now we're having that back and forth conversation of what shoes are going to be the best for you. But that's a perfect example. Like, being able to get him through the season. A lot of places you go to, especially if you go to the doctor first, you will be told, well, then just stop running. For someone who's a runner, that's not an option. So to be able to use this technology to say, this is what's going on and this is how we fix it, and you be able to finish your season and have so much success. And he was so excited to tell me that he had gotten most improved athlete of the season. So that was wonderful for him and for me.
Cool. Now, I mentioned earlier that you had an athletic background. How has your background as an athlete influenced your approach to creating these personalized care plans for your clients?
Because I get it. I understand what it's like. I understand the injury phase. I understand the overtraining that leads to injury and how to back off from that, how to change things for you. And not only as an athlete, but I also have a master's degree in athletic training, and I did that for years. So specifically working in sports and understanding sport performance and sports science, that has been a valuable experience to saying, I understand what you're going through from a standpoint of having been through it myself.
Okay. Now, what challenges have you encountered in actually educating your clients about the benefits of a specialized out of network practice model, and how have you addressed these concerns with them?
The biggest thing is cost, because everyone has insurance, right? And they want to utilize that insurance and try to get through some of these injuries. But it's just the fact of the matter is, as the years go by, the insurance changes, the reimbursement rates to those healthcare providers go down. And then therefore, to mitigate that, the number of patients that they have to see goes up. And there are times in those clinics where they're treating 3, 4, 5 people at a time because there is a productivity standard that they have to meet. And so when you look at the total cost of it all, it's like you could go there, right, and you could pay whatever your copay is, maybe $25 or $50. But what is the care? When you go into that clinic, are you truly getting one-on-one care from that physical therapist, the doctor of physical therapy? Are you truly getting care from them? And are they able to change things for you in that moment to benefit you? Or did they have a list of exercises that they're running through with you, or a tech is running through with you, and nothing changes? You get to the end of your session, and that's when you see your therapist and you say, well, hey, that exercise was hurt. Well, I didn't know that until the end, and it's too late, and I have to move on to the next patient. So that is what I tell them. Like, think about, especially if you have a co-insurance or deductible that you have to meet, what you're paying, especially this time of year, what you're paying up front for those visits anyway, where you can come to me and I'm one-on-one with you for probably the same price. But because it's so focused and I'm not dealing with many other patients at the same time, you get better faster. And when they see that and they realize that, they start to understand the value in that. And so it has helped to overcome that challenge of the being out of network, the higher cost, premium cost, versus the care that they get.
Okay. Now, how do you go about building trust with your clients to foster long-term relationships and those positive outcomes that you're trying to see?
again, it's all about, making sure that you're the right person for them and they're the right person for you. That's first things first, because we get it in healthcare, we get it in the physical therapy world that some people, they just are going through the motions, and kind of being out of network and having a specialty in running. I don't get so much of that. And we're able to really sit down and talk and discuss what your goals are. Do you have an event that's coming up that you need to be ready for? So now we can tailor everything specifically to you being ready for that event. And when they see that you care and that you're tailoring everything for them to get there and to be successful at that event, because some of them may have a meaningful reason why they are doing that specific event. And a lot of times you see, as they get closer to that event, if they haven't been training well or things like that, then the injury starts to come on, and then they have to back off. So a lot of times what I get with that is, I was able to successfully complete this thing that meant a lot to me. And then I do it from the standpoint of not only just from a physical therapy standpoint, but I do offer just general wellness to them. So it's an ongoing care. And then again, if you have that event that you're training for and you're not exactly sure how to get from point A to point B to be successful for that event, I offer run coaching services. So there's a lot that comes with specifically what I do with training that creates that long-term relationship from, I came to you injured, now I'm feeling better and I just want to stay where I am. And now I have this event coming up and I need you to help me get ready for that.
I love that. Now, earlier you mentioned utilizing cadence. What inspired you to integrate advanced performance metrics like cadence, vertical oscillation, and ground contact time into your practice? And how do these help your clients achieve their goals?
Because those are the factors that determine how much running economy we have and what our output is. If when we have that vertical oscillation, we're spending too much time off the ground, or the ground contact time, we're spending too much time on the ground. Or if we're not taking enough steps per minute, which is what the cadence is, how do we get better? I have a time goal. I want to meet this goal. I want to run this time. Those are the things that contribute to getting you there. And those are the things that cadence is measurable. I can take out a timer and I can count how many steps you're taking per minute, but I can't really give you a true number on your vertical oscillation without this technology. I can't truly tell you how much ground contact ground contact time that you have without this technology. So that has been very useful in just being able to show a number versus a feeling of getting better. If you feel like you got better, yes, that is great. That is absolutely the number one thing that I want from my patient, that you feel better when you run, but also to be able to back it up with some numbers to say, this is where we started and this is where we are now. And that clicks with a lot of patients.
Okay. Now, how do you stay ahead of the latest trends and advancements in physical therapy, and how does that innovation translate into better care for your clients?
It's really just staying on top of the research. It really is. That is one of the things. There's always so much coming out. And then my continuing ed, I spend a lot of time making sure that I am taking courses that will set me apart from everyone else, that I have the knowledge that sets me apart from, someone who's seeing so many patients. They don't have time to do the continuing ed until it's almost due for their licensure to be renewed, right? And so that has been one of the biggest things for me. This past weekend, I spent 3 days in a course, and I immediately felt like, oh, my mind is blown. It's open. I enjoyed that learning opportunity. And I was immediately able to apply some of those techniques that I learned straight to my clients. And some clients that I had been dealing with for a while, and I'm like, I just can't figure out what's going on. And I applied some of those techniques, and immediately I was like, my mind is like, and they get up off the table and they're like, oh my gosh, it feels better. Like, even just with some of my older patients, just walking, learning how to cue them on some of those things. I had a patient like, I have been struggling with just walking for months. And I got on the table, we do this breathing technique. I get up, you cue me on some of these things, and I have no pain at all. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful experience for me. And that's the value that I want to provide to my clients, is that I'm not just wasting your time. I am out here, I'm actively learning and I'm actively applying what I've learned to, again, help you achieve your goals.
So you are worth the money, okay?
Yes.
It's that simple, okay, y'all? Did you hear her? Okay. So what challenges have you faced transitioning from a full-time physical therapy job to launching your own practice? And how did you navigate those challenges?
It's been a thing. I'm still in that transition phase, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm building up the caseload for my own practice. So transitioning from that full-time clinical setting to opening your own practice. And for me, it was just an act of faith, because I kept saying, I kept feeling that sensation of just go, go, go. But I'm such a perfectionist, and I'm just like, I can't go until it's exactly right. And it's never going to be exactly right, because you're going to have to change some things. Things are not always going to be perfect, but in order to figure out what's imperfect, you have to get started. So I would say I was my own biggest challenge, because I wanted it to be perfect before I started. And I just had to realize it wasn't going to be perfect. And when I got started, that's when God started opening so many doors and so many opportunities for me to meet the people that would help me get to that next step.
I know it. I understand it. So, what steps have you actually taken within your practice to ensure inclusivity and representation in your practice? And how has that impacted your relationship with your clients?
I think for me, living where I live in Atlanta is such a diverse area anyway, that it makes it a little bit easier to maintain that level of diversity. But even beyond just my practice, I love mentorship. I spent 2 hours on the phone last night. I'm an adjunct professor as well. I spent 2 hours on the phone with one of my students last night, just being realistic with her as she's getting closer to graduation, and telling her these are the things that you want to look for. And this is, she's a young Black woman, and in our profession, Black professionals make up 4.22% of our entire
Hmm.
profession. And so I just like, I felt the need. I want you to look out for these things as you enter the profession. And as I just alluded to with how much continuing ed I do, you want to spend that first year out of school just getting really good at the things that you love to do. And that will open up so many doors for you. Coming out of school, you may not get the salary that you want, but if you can get somewhere where you've got good mentorship and you've got quality continuing ed, you can get really, really good. And in a year, you can be in my shoes where you're getting ready to open your door. I actively advise against spending too much time in settings that don't enhance you and don't allow you to treat the way you want to treat. And so being able to not only be an owner myself, but have access to the students, that really engages me in that DEI. And I'm also a part of, one of our biggest continuing ed opportunities as physical therapist, Institute of Clinical Excellence. I am in their leadership diversity program. And so that has been huge for me, because that has given me an opportunity to get some education and fill in my gaps. And that's what you want to do. You want to fill in your gaps, and you want to mentor that next generation to help them fill in whatever gaps they have. And even if your gaps aren't their gaps or theirs aren't yours, helping them to get there and helping them to find the experiences that are meaningful to them.
Let's talk a little bit about the ICE Diversity and Leadership Program. How has your participation in that program aligned with your mission to create inclusive care options for your clients?
Because I mean, in our setting, we don't always have the access that we need to healthcare, right? And
Hmm.
we talk about how, I'm out of network, and sometimes those costs can be higher. But again, it's just being able to be accessible to someone who can help you. That program allows me to get that education to be able to help my community. One of the things that they posted yesterday was about health disparities in minorities from a pelvic health standpoint, right? And those are the things that they talk about. And even in some of the times that we're dealing with right now, they're not taking their foot off the gas on, we still want to be a resource from all standpoints, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's pelvic health, whether it's runners, whether it's cyclists, all those things. We want to be a resource to the community for all people. And so being involved in that is an awesome experience for me, knowing that no matter what, they're not taking their foot off the gas, and it allows me to not take my foot off the gas to be a resource to my community.
I love it. Now, as a solo entrepreneur, how do you manage your client relationships while also balancing the demands of growing your business?
I mean, you just have to put it on the schedule and stick to it. That is the biggest thing, because I'm treating one-on-one, so it allows for a more personal relationship, right? And sometimes that can turn into, I email you all hours of the night, or I may shoot you this text all hours of the night. But you have to be able to step aside and say, this is my family time. This is when I dedicate time to the business, and this is when I dedicate time to the patients. And they understand it. Initially, those relationships can get so personal, because
Yeah.
you're dealing with their life in a lot of situations, because running sometimes it's not just, I want to run this race. It's a mental health thing for some
Yeah.
people. It's like, I run to maintain a balance. And those are part of the discussions, because I want to know why running is important to you. I don't just come treat you just to come treat you. I want to know why. That helps me when I'm determining what your plan of care is going to look like, right? And so, once they kind of get it beyond that, oh my gosh, this is the first person that's listened to me, and I've developed such a personal relationship with them, then you also have to create that balance with them, and they get it. They get it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, where do you see the intersection of innovation, mentorship, and inclusivity in shaping the future of physical therapy?
I mean, it's one of those things, again, accessibility. One of my most profound experiences was when I was actually a student physical therapist. I was
Mhm.
in a clinic, I was in my last rotation. And, when you're in that last rotation, you're almost treating independently, because they're preparing you for graduation, getting licensed, and being able to walk in the clinic day one and treat. And I remember one of the guys that I was treating, I was like, okay, I'm going to let my clinical instructor take over. And he pulled me to the side and he was like, look, I come here, I enjoy coming here because I'm being treated by a Black woman.
Yep.
And
I knew you were gonna say
I want
that.
my physical therapist to be Black. I'm like, what? But he's the licensed one. And he's like, you can go consult, but I want you to treat. And it was no more than that. Is, I want to be treated by someone who looks like me.
I love it.
As simple as that.
And that's the best answer. Like, listen, I get it. Now, what advice would you offer to other healthcare professionals who want to integrate advanced technology such as you have into their patient care models?
I would definitely say read the research, understand what you're looking at, because that is the thing. It's not just getting this equipment and hooking it up. There is a deeper understanding, because anybody can go get the equipment and put it on, but if you don't understand what you're looking at, once those numbers pop out, if you don't understand the queuing behind it, then you just have technology and you just have numbers. So really understanding and diving deep into what you're doing, and how you can make those changes for your patients based off of what you see.
Okay. What role has your family's entrepreneurial legacy played in shaping your leadership style and approach to running your business?
Oh my gosh, everyone in my family is an entrepreneur. I mean, they play just a great supportive role. My grandfather, he has been in business for over 50 years. He owned an upholstery shop in our hometown. My mom, she owns a hair salon. My dad owned a Dairy Queen. My sister owns a career coaching business. So there's just profound support from them all. Like, sometimes you can start things and you don't necessarily get the support, or people think, oh, that's going to fail. But no, coming from a family of entrepreneurs, I just don't believe there's a way for me to fail, because I've seen them do it. And if I have questions about how did you do it when it got hard, because it gets hard, especially as you're growing and you're trying to transition and you're trying to balance things out, it gets hard. And,
Mhm.
all of them just say, don't quit. Eventually get really good at what it is you do, and eventually you're not looking for patients, they'll come to you. My mom, being a hairstylist, just got really good, and she specializes really in treating people with hair loss, especially from cancer and stuff like that. And so she just got really good. She just became that go-to person. She doesn't have to market or look for clients. They come to her. People, I went through cancer treatments, and I lost my hair, and I went to Sharon, and look at my hair is down my back now. And so that's what I want to provide, is that service of like, she's really good. I went to this doctor and they told me to start running, and I went to this physical therapist and maybe they didn't tell me to start running, but they only provided half treatment. They only got me good enough. I left there and I was running, but every now and then I still had a little pain. Yeah. And I didn't have a true fix for it. Right. I want to be that person you come to because you trust, and that markets itself even in the times where it gets hard.
It does. Now, where do you see the future of physical therapy for endurance athletes, and how is Invictus Smart Performance leading the way in redefining the industry?
What I see is, again, you being able to step away from the traditional models and saying, I want the best care. And Invictus is leading the way with that because, again, I'm at the forefront of it, right? I'm the founder and I'm getting the education. I'm applying it. I have the technology to provide you with the data. And again, keeping the continuum of things. Maybe you come with an injury, but then we transition you to just wellness. And then from there, we transition you to the coaching part of it and just maintaining that. I want to be that person that, okay, maybe you only went through the physical therapy part, but your experience was such that no matter what, if I have anything else, I'm going back to Karen at Invictus Smart Performance.
I love
that
it.
is my therapist.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, what is one lesson you've learned as a Black woman in physical therapy, in the physical therapy industry, that you want to share with others that are aspiring to follow your path?
I would say make connections. Honestly, making the connections, because our community could never be big enough. I was sitting here this morning. I had just gotten off a meeting with one of my mentors and a young lady in this same area who treats runners. She reached out to me. I hadn't talked to her in over a month. She reached out to me. Hey, I just want to know how things are going with you. Creating the community so that you're not out here doing it by yourself, because there's a lot to learn from others. She treats runners. I treat runners, but we're not fighting for patience because she's very good. Exactly. Okay. She's very good at what she does. And she understands, like, this young lady is on a path to being very good at what she does, but there's no competition. There's only, because I don't know everything. So to have a resource to say, hey, in this situation, what would you do? It might even be, I don't know that, and I'm going to send you to her, right? Like, I'm not ashamed. I will tell people all the time, and I've said this for years. Again, I've spent several years as an athletic trainer before I even became a physical therapist. I'm not afraid to say I don't know, but I will follow that up with, I will find out, or I will find you someone who does know.
So, I love that. I love it. One of the reasons we built this platform is collaboration. I've learned that collaboration is key. And us as Black women, we've got to learn how to collaborate with each other, because if we want to get a piece of this pie, that's the only way we're going to do it, is together.
We cannot have a crabs in the barrel mentality. We cannot think, if I don't get out of this, you won't get out either. We have to lift and climb.
We got to lift and climb. So I'm going to drop off the screen, and what I want you to do is I want you to tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you. I do have your website going across the bottom of the screen for their information, but tell them where they can find you on social media as well.
Okay. Well, you can go to my website at Invictus Smart Performance. Here in the Atlanta area, I treat in Henry County, Fayette County, and in Clayton County. On my social media, you can find me directly at Dr. Karen J. Taylor on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can find me at invictus.smartpt on Facebook and on Instagram as well. Those are my two social medias. And so if you are in need of any type of service as it relates to running, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
So you also can find Dr. Karen. We're going to write an article on her, and you can review this lovely interview that we've done with her today on our website, which is dearblackwoman.me. And y'all know it. I'll post it everywhere again so that you can see not only the video interview, but also the written interview that we do on Dr. Karen. And she will also be featured in our February issue that'll be coming out on February the 15th. So with that being said, Dr. Karen, I want to say thank you so much for
Thank
doing this.
you. Thank you for having me. It's been a joy, been a blast being here.
Yes, thank you for allowing us to put you as one of our featured business women. And I just want to say I'm very proud of you and extremely loving what it is that you're doing in the physical therapy community. And if I was a runner, because I'm right here in the same city as you, I would be over there talking about, oh, y'all, look what Dr. Karen did to me.
Well, I would say no one is above getting a gait analysis, even if you want to start walking. I do have software to assess how you walk. There are people who are like, I'm not a runner, but I'm trying to walk more, and I can
Let me say this to you. That might actually be beneficial either way, because I do wear heels a lot, and I have been trying to. I'm an older woman now, so and I need to stay fit. So maybe I do need to come get a gait analysis. Just to, before I leave to go to Vietnam, when I get there, I might be able to run on the beach based on what you said.
Yeah, I'm an advocate of getting you in the appropriate shoe wear. In my age, I can say I've never been one that wears heels, and my feet are thanking me for it.
Well, and let me just say this: my feet are opposite of yours. My feet like, and she wear wedge tennis shoes too. They telling it all.
We got to get you in some better shoes with some wider toe boxes.
Listen to you. Why you want to take me out my heels? I be feeling cute.
Because as we get older, we get home at the end of the day. We want Bay to rub our feet, but we want to have cute feet when we take our shoes off.
My feet still cute too now. We talked about our parents earlier, but I watched my mama come up with coins all on her toes and said that would never be me. Never. And it is not. I keep these feet cute, but I want to come because, like you said, the older we get, certain things are more important. That gait for making sure that you're walking right, even if you're out there doing a 30-minute walk in the morning or in the evening, just making sure that you have the right sneakers on while you're walking is important as well. I do know that studying your gait also helps with balance and your spine strength. So those are things that people need to think about as well too. See, I know a little something.
Absolutely, and you are spot on. You are spot on. There are deficiencies or inefficiencies in your walking pattern that we look at too. I mean, even from the standpoint of treating runners, I have this software because sometimes I need to back you all the way up to just walking, because you don't spend all day running. You spend a majority of your day probably walking, and if you're having some inefficiencies in just walking and pain with walking, I can't put you on the treadmill and just do a running gait analysis. I do have to back you up to the walking stage and see what do we need to fix here. You got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run, right? And so sometimes I have to back you up.
Out there that's my age, that's 45 and up. We got knee pain, we got ankle pain, we got back pain, and and I'm gonna be honest with you, ladies, it comes from a lifetime of wearing them high heels. Not even gonna lie, you heard Dr. Karen say she had to get me out of heels and into a better shoe.
I won't take you all the way. As I told you earlier, right? I will never tell a runner to stop running. So I will never tell a heel wearer to stop wearing heels. We just may have to modify some things.
We have to adjust as we get older. We have to adjust. So
I know you want your calves to be accentuated when you are wearing your heels, right? And so we're cute in our heels. I'm tall, so I never really got into wearing heels. And again, being an athlete, never got into it. But
I'm tall too, but I still be wearing them heels. I be putting on them 36-inch heels. Like my last relationship was shorter than me, and he used to get so mad because I would be towering over him in heels.
I won't take you out of them. I'll just let him be mad, but we'll work on that gait a little bit.
Yeah, because you right here in Atlanta. Y'all don't be surprised if I pop up on a live and I be at Dr. Karen's office. Okay, be like, oh y'all, look, she got me walking on this treadmill. This is what she said she was gonna do. And then you get that little button and make me start running. Then we're gonna have a whole problem.
We'll ease you into it.
Okay. Well, Dr. Karen, it has been a joy having you on the show. And again, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of our featured Business Women of the Month.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys, I want to say thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Dear Black Woman featured business women. Thank you all for joining us for this enlightening conversation with Dr. Karen Taylor of Invictus Smart Performance. Her story reminds us of the power of innovation, representation, and staying grounded in purpose. To learn more about Dr. Karen's services and how she keeps runners running on their feet, visit her website and connect with her on social media. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing your own entrepreneurial dreams.